The UN has warned that the world is on course for a devastating 3.1 degrees Celsius rise in global temperatures by the end of the century, which is far worse than earlier predictions. The goal of keeping global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, agreed in the 2015 Paris Agreement, may soon be out of reach unless countries take urgent, large-scale action to reduce emissions. According to the UN Environment Programme, UNEP, the world is currently heading for a temperature increase between 2.6 degrees Celsius and 3.1 degrees Celsius, depending on how well nations meet their climate pledges. At the upcoming COP29 Climate Summit in Azerbaijan, countries will be urged to strengthen their efforts, especially in financing climate solutions for developing nations. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned that without stronger climate policies, the world is heading toward disaster, with the poorest and most vulnerable populations suffering the most. Even though countries promised in 2015 to keep temperature rises well below 2 degrees Celsius and aim for 1.5 degrees Celsius, little progress has been made. Scientists say every fraction of a degree matters since higher temperatures will worsen natural disasters like heat waves, floods, droughts, and rising sea levels. Nations have submitted plans to reduce emissions, known as Nationally Determined Contributions, NDCs, but UNEP reports that these efforts are not enough. To keep the 1.5 degrees Celsius target within reach, emissions need to drop by 42% by 2030 and 57% by 2035. However, greenhouse gas emissions are still rising, with the G20 nations responsible for 77% of global emissions. UNEP says these reductions are possible if countries make major changes. This includes tripling renewable energy production, improving energy efficiency, cutting fossil fuel use, and restoring ecosystems like forests and mangroves. Mr. Guterres stressed that extreme weather events, such as powerful hurricanes, floods, and heat waves, are already causing damage worldwide. He urged governments to phase out fossil fuels, expand renewable energy, and reverse deforestation. Inger Anderson, head of UNEP, warned that without immediate action, the 1.5 degrees Celsius target will soon become unachievable. However, even if this limit is surpassed, efforts to reduce emissions and slow warming remain critical to saving lives, protecting economies, and preserving biodiversity. UNEP calls on countries to use the COP29 summit as a turning point for stronger climate policies and action. Even a small reduction in temperature rise can make a significant difference for the future.